Hello there, and if you are a big Beatles fan, then you are in for a treat because we went to visit Paul McCartney's childhood home at 20 Forthlin Road. Now, you're not allowed to film around in the house, but you are allowed to look at the garden. Now, the garden itself is not some kind of super designed horticultural paradise. It is a very authentic looking place as to how it was back in the day. We know it looks very much like how it did when Paul McCartney used to live there during his later teenage years, because his brother Mike was a photographer, and there are plenty of photographs in the house that show how the garden was, and pretty much it's the same. So what we'll do, we'll have a little walk around, see how it looks, see what plants are there, and you can, it's a little bit of history, and we think you'd quite like it. So the property itself is a 3-bedroom terrace house that was built just after the Second World War. Now, by all accounts, Paul's father was a keen gardener, and while a number of the plants in the front and back gardens have been planted since the McCartneys left this property, many of those still here are original. As you enter the property, the front garden welcomes you with a well-cut privet hedge and smart square-cut lawn. And immediately in front of the front door is a Philadelphus, possibly Coronarius, but it's difficult to tell when it's not in flower. Next to that is a Cordyline australis, but that is not original because it would have been so much bigger, and that's followed by a pink Buddleia davidii and possibly the rootstock of an old cherry tree showing through. Now, there's a really large established Pieris here, possibly a forest flame, and that probably is an original. And down there on the ground there are a couple of dwarf lavenders, and next to that an established Euonymus microphyllus variegata. Now, we know that lavenders were planted in the McCartney's garden because James McCartney, that's Paul's father, used to take cuttings of the lavender and place them in the house in ashtrays, so that when you stubbed out your cigarettes in the ashtrays, you get, rather than like a smelly tobacco smell, you get the lavender essence coming off and making it smell more fragrant. So lavender's definitely a plant that was in Paul McCartney's garden. In the border near the house, you have a large clump of another herbaceous geranium. This one looks to be Johnson's Blue. And to the left of that is a really handsome pink hydrangea macrophylla. Now, macrophylla just means large-leaved. Round to the back garden, you go for a little tunnel there, you still have the original concrete shed, and that's where Paul and his brother Mike would set up deck chairs on their roof, because behind that, if you can see in this image, you've got there's a field there where they train horses, and every now and again they put on a show there. Now, on the side of the garden, you've still got the original wire picket fence, and that shows the boundary line between this garden and next door's garden. The fence to the left that's behind that shed, that's got a thick layer of common ivy growing up it, as does the rear boundary, and that is almost identical to the contemporary photographs taken by Paul's brother Mike McCartney. Now, within that boundary and swamped by the ivy is a forsythia and what looks like to be an evergreen viburnum, possibly Burkewedii. Planted to the side of the shed is and on the ground there is a large clump of Montbretias. Now, this orange one looks to be the Crocosmia hybrid, Crocosmia flora. Now, this is a common wildflower in Ireland, and that's where both of Paul's parents were born. To the right of the garden is a sad-looking apple tree, along with some euphorbias, ferns and daylilies, and just in front of the back door is a newly planted border containing yet another lavender and some chives. So there you have it. That is our tour of Paul McCartney's front and back garden from his childhood home in Liverpool. If there's anything you'd like to add to that, we'd love to hear from you. Just put that in the comments, and don't forget, if you'd like to support this channel, then click subscribe anyway. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.